it's your host, Lorraine.com, and...
It's Cuz.
MPIC.
PIC, and we have a very special guest with us today, Miss... This is my sister, guys. She's been on our pod before. In the very beginning, I don't think Gus still wasn't here.
No.
But we did have Amy in like our third episode, I think, something like that. Oh, when we talked about the fetishes and stuff.
She was the queen of darkness, something to that extent.
Algo así,
You might remember her ass.
Amy, a.k.a. the Mistress of the Dark. I know that's Elvira. Okay. So, guys, as you can see, we've been working diligently on our new studio.
Sorry, guys,
apart.
it's haunted in here.
I know.
Diligently, guys. Not only have we been working on the studio and trying to add and subtract things, but we've also lost people that were part of the team. So that has meant for us that we need to like look for new people or
Step up,
really, because like, you know, just kind of it left us on lingo. And we've had to do a lot of things ourselves and shit like that. But you know what, whatever. Like,
Pero thank God for ChatGPT.
I was going to say, the reality is that you guys got this. Like, you guys are pretty impressive.
Right.
Thanks. I got to say, yeah. And I say they because, you know, you guys are very active and very techie. And props to you guys, honestly. You guys have been very dedicated, and all this is because of you guys.
Sí, y es mucho como que sweat and blood. Literally blood.
Yeah.
Literally.
Oh yeah, if you guys missed that live like I did.
Yeah, we were trying to put the table together. And I will say Gus was the one that put it together like 100%.
What were you doing? Supervising?
She was supervising.
She was support.
Support.
Okay.
She was handling the lives.
Your sister, she's looking at you like
she's not. I know that style.
Amy's like, I know that too well.
I was handling the lives. I was controlling the millions of followers we had online.
Sí, it was hard to keep up.
Yeah, at some point it was getting overwhelming and shit.
Sí.
Yeah, guys, honestly, another thing. Our PIC is now gonna be using the soundboard, and she's like a little kid with a new toy. With the new toy. So if you get some random like sound bites on there, that's PIC.
It's me.
Anyways, thank you for like injuring yourself for the cause. For the cause. Really.
And
Let us see. Show us.
It was such a small cut. Como que hinchadito. It's right here in my middle finger.
You know, I thought that you actually were like just throwing the middle finger at first.
No, like
it was blood and it was dripping down like that.
Like it was like, o sea, sangre así como que chorreando.
You know, cuando estaba chiquita, la Amy gritaba, "Sangre, papá, sangre." not that I knew, cause like I was never around. It wasn't you, Kina.
No, it was my cousin.
Oh, our cousin Mayra. I didn't know, but they always tell this story.
Imagine during like their period.
It was during that time, huh? I know. So anyways, guys, today we have a very interesting topic, but not before we hit you guys with the new intro that we don't have. Just kidding. We're working on it, guys. No. We just kind of, we go through our current events or week, what we've been doing. Do you want to input any interesting we did this week?
Besides injuring his finger?
I feel like that was a highlight of my week. Honestly, it was getting the table. Because last time we ordered some things from Temu. Shout out for Temu. We got half of the things that I ordered. And then to the table, dije, que si no llega a la mesa, o que siga quebrada.
Right.
I think that was my biggest worry.
Your fear.
That it was broken. I had to return it. And it was like local, so it took like a week for me to get it. And
that's still not bad, a week.
See, no. It was supposed to get here. We needed it on that
Sunday.
It got here Monday.
Yeah. Well,
esta madre.
See, wait, it was heavy. Se la trajo like, oh my God, Gus, shout out.
Shout out to
No
Gus.
La subí sola al carro. Y I literally dragged it all the way over here.
Yeah.
And Lorraine was like, well, what if we scratch the floor? And I was like, are you?
Me
I was
vale
like,
madre.
aren't you paying for this?
Let me go get my dolly, whatever, pero no.
Ay, hasta
Anyways,
dolly todo.
It's like se lo robé a mi nephew, Isaiah. Shout out, Isaiah. That's
He's
out
like, that's where that is.
depending on freedom.
Sí, pero esta madre pesaba como, I think it was like 45 kilos, which goes to like 100 pounds. Something like that. Something like that.
Ya ven,
So
los
entonces,
muscles. Oh.
yes,
yes,
pero
so
that was a
your
highlight.
highlight?
Yeah, this was the highlight for me. Yeah.
So my highlight was getting my new machine for the facials. That's super exciting.
Start
So you
booking.
guys, I'll leave the link down below. So you can check
Use
out
code
your
CRUDE for 20% off.
Yeah. And then we got to record with a local podcast. They're called Death in a Hoodie.
No, you can't double dip on that one. That was the highlight of my week, actually.
Okay, I'll let you.
Well, no. Actually, no. I have one more.
Well,
It was a margarita.
Yes, stop it. How did you know?
Well, okay. A highlight for on Sunday, which is still considered last week, right?
Yes.
They came over to our pod, and so we're working on getting that episode out, guys. Be on the lookout. And then we got invited to theirs, so we'll also leave them down below so you guys can check them out and check us out in another environment that is not technically ours.
See, no, it wasn't ours.
So that was pretty like my highlight of the week. What about PIC?
Well, mine was exactly that we got invited to the Death and Hoodie podcast. And then right before we met for some margaritas at Taco Cabana. Mm-hmm. And apparently it's $2 before 6 o'clock. And then after 6, it's regular price. But if you're going to stay there, you can get a pitcher for $7.99.
Uh-huh.
And we're like, okay, Gus gets there and he's like, let's have the picture. And I'm like, sure. So then he comes back and says that it's for 2 people. Like in order to get the picture, you need 2 IDs. So we're thinking it's this huge picture. Well, it's not. Es una madrecilla
It's
like
slim like your
it's
cup.
no,
Well,
it's like
like
that
this
one.
one?
Like that one.
Algo así.
Y yo, ¿y eso qué?
Yeah, it
You're
was
like,
a bit.
literally, that's just for me.
Yeah.
Sí, sí, they. Yeah, that's what I was saying on PIC. I was like, I would just get a straw and put it in there. My first sip out of that margarita. No,
He was buzzed.
It took me back. I was like, what the fuck?
So then that
You
explained
know what?
it.
But let me tell you what the funnier part was. Que yo ordené, ¿verdad? Y luego no me acabé la comida y dije, ay, mañana no hago pack lunch porque me quedaron como 2 taquitos. And I said, perfect. Pues we were so focused on trying to walk out of there with the little margarita we had left que se me olvidaron los tacos ahí nuevos.
Ay.
Para tanto así, dude.
No lunch. No lunch.
Because we were like, can we walk away with these cups or not?
I have.
And pues we didn't know, and
Es que you know how
PIC
they
was
say,
like, are you gonna ask? And I was like, no.
Y lo,
Let's
pero
walk away.
I think they have a sign that says no alcohol beyond this
Beyond
point.
this
Oh,
point,
okay.
yes.
The drink. I just put it in.
See, that would have been a good idea.
Sí. Pero
But
nosotros,
anyway,
yeah, so we were like rushing out of the restaurant because we didn't want to get caught with. Ay, parecíamos niños, güey.
Ajá. Y por eso dejé ahí hasta los pinches
Los taquitos.
taquitos ahí
Ay,
nuevecitos.
Pues,
Pues ya ni
se
modo.
los banqueteó, yo creo.
Ojalá.
No, they probably throw them away, to be honest.
Sí.
Yeah. But anyway, that was the highlight. But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Did you do anything interesting?
Not a damn thing.
Well, we have a very interesting topic because
It is Pride Month.
Hold on.
Congratulations, Gus.
Yo ya les dije que quería que hicieran todo, que by the time I got here, everything should be ready. Pues no. I had to set up everything. I had to like be the tech guy. And
He's all, tech. Don't you know I'm gay?
And I was
Gay
like,
Pride Month?
We're just giving you a chance to shine.
Shine.
To shine.
ay no, pues ya me cansé de brillar. Ya me cansé.
Ya páguenme.
Time out.
Time out. I feel like all my life I've had a gay best friend. All my life, forever. And everywhere I go, I always like a magnet.
Sí, los atraes.
See, why?
I don't know.
Is it my masculine
But
energy?
you know what? Whenever, have you noticed that they could only be with like one gay guy in their friend group? No puede haber dos.
That's
Sí,
true.
¿verdad? We've noticed
They
that because
clash.
Carlos doesn't come around anymore.
Sí, no. It's
Shout out to Carlos. How is he?
It's one or the other.
Yeah.
No, ya está.
You gotta bring him on.
He wants nothing to do with us right now.
Sí, no. With the partying, he's like, don't
He's
bring
like-
me in.
I want, no, un día lo vamos a traer aquí para que nos dé su sabiduría.
All the tea.
Yeah, because Carlos is very smart.
Sí. Yeah, we should do like a...
Y tiene buena labia.
Oh, sí, demasiado.
Because it's like, I can attest to that.
But no, all our life we've been allies, and we love Pride Month. We always go. I love going to the gay bars. I have a lot of gay friends. I'm just kidding. You're literally the only one. Easy. Pero we wanted to bring Amy out because pretty much what we want to like address is how my niece came out as like being part of the community, maybe, I guess. Yeah. And so Amy, as a American Mexican mother, like, how does that fit into our culture and our society, to say, per se, or our family in particular, because we are Mexican. My mom's very conservative, and she's very religious. So, that kind of like clashed a little. But ultimately, my mom's message is to love everyone. What do you think?
Yeah, pues.
Pues ya, ¿qué le queda?
I feel like that's what...
Love it or leave it.
Yeah, pretty much.
See. I guess for me, I'm making it about myself.
No, yeah, tell us. I mean, it is
for
about you
for
too.
example,
So.
like for me, like with my parents, it was more of I guess for me it was later on in life. I wasn't like very young when like I told my parents. So it would happen like probably like 4 years ago or so. So tenía como 25. So I had lived like part of like most of my life. No. Todavía falta. But
Up to now. Most of your life up to now.
Yeah, up to now. Y for me, it was more of a, dije, if they can't respect that from me, like, pues ni modo. Like, I have to move on with my life. I mean, because I can't go around pleasing everyone. And that's like an issue I had also with one of my brother-in-laws. Porque si le dije eso, and I was like, so you, like, if your parents would have accepted you, would you just move on? I was like, yes. And he was like, well, that's wrong. And I was like, why is it wrong?
Uh-huh.
Like,
So you're
because at
supposed
the end
to
of the
change
day,
how you feel?
Right.
at the end of the day, it's my life, and who's gonna be living this life, me or them?
Right.
You're like, was I supposed to go to like a conversion camp or something?
No
Tell me
way.
back straight.
Sí, no.
So, a question: is your brother-in-law still in your guys' life?
Sí.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still there.
Chingas madre.
But no,
Just kidding. Shout out to the
no.
brother-in-law.
Pero sí, como I feel a lot of people don't like gather their thoughts, or la forma que como que se expresan no se saben expresar bien.
Sí,
No,
ajá.
sí.
You know
No
what I
saben
mean?
cómo.
Or it's
Sí.
not like they feel like the way they say it, it's not hurtful, or I don't know.
Like
But
they come off as disrespectful or like
sí.
Or very wrong.
Or like lacking
Yeah.
empathy. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
I feel like what you don't know, like, you know what I mean? Like, you haven't lived it, so you wouldn't know
Ajá.
how it is to live that struggle.
Sí. Oye, y más que nada es como que there was like we went to a graduation party like 2 weeks ago or so. And then one of the guys that was there, he was asking me and Carlos if we were planning on having kids. Y dije, pues sí, that's something I've been open about, and having kids and things like that. And he was like, well, what if he's gay? Like, are you, no, que me dijo? No, he was
What
like,
the fuck?
what if you, like, dijo, y ustedes lo van a crear para que sea gay? And I was like, dude, like, you don't raise your kids for them to be gay. Like, you don't like,
That's like
it's something that they
okay.
decide to do, or like something that if he wants to play sports and do all these things, I'll have him do sports and things
Right.
like that, or
Yeah.
whatever, even if it's a girl or what have you, right? But it's como que, what, o sea,
No
que-
te haces, naces.
But what do you
No,
think
que
it is? You
no.
think people are confused as to how that works, or they just
I think they're just
They're
ignorant.
Ignorant.
They're
It's
ignorant.
ignorance to what you don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, o sea, sí.
Y muchos son así como personas como muy mexicanas, or like very religious.
okay?
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. Like,
I mean, it is interesting because we don't, the way I often question myself, how can somebody judge you, or how can somebody have such an ugly heart? But, you know, I wouldn't know because I don't feel like I have.
Ya pasó.
Échalo.
Ya pasó.
Échalos que no pasan.
¿Qué estaba
Que
haciendo
no
ayer,
pagan
Lorraine?
renta.
Que sí
No mames.
Dude, and it slowly started creeping up.
Como ¿cómo se llama? Lolita. O sea, ya pasó. ¿No?
Nada.
No, dude, I don't.
I'll put the meme.
I don't know. I don't know how it would be to have an ugly heart. Maybe I'm ignorant to other stuff and I have an ugly heart to something else, but not to this personally. Like,
Sí. ¿Sabes qué? Siento que la gente no sabe preguntar. No sabe preguntar.
También.
Or
Sí.
maybe they're too scared to ask. I think that it's also been like a taboo a lot.
Yes, true.
I don't know, like for you, Amy, how it was like talking with your daughter, or how did it come about that?
Yeah,
So-
I had the same question.
So she comes to you and then she tells you,
So because I have a son,
uh-huh.
and of course with Dave, like he's very out there. Oh, girls. So Michaela was not like that.
Mhm.
So I kind of like,
Did you ask?
You had that conversation with her.
I kind of wanted to like, I kind of noticed it,
Uh-huh.
but didn't.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day she just told me, she's like, you know what, Mom? I think I like girls.
Mm-hmm.
She thinks.
Or, you know what
Or
I mean?
maybe, you know, because
Well, I mean, because this was
Pues
very
es que,
young.
Yeah, she was
ajá,
young.
She
y
was
tampoco
very
te va a
young.
decir como que me gustan las viejas, ¿sabes cómo? O
Sí,
sea,
sí, sí.
You know?
no, like
Maybe she was confused.
ajá.
Or maybe she just didn't.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
True.
And at that time, I was with their stepdad,
Mm-hmm.
and I mentioned it to him, and he's like, "Well, just accept it. You know, just
Mhm.
let it go. Maybe she's still young, and you know,
And
just
como que she'll grow out of it.
Right,
ajá,
right.
You know, just take
Like
it as
everybody wants
it is, and
to.
then
Sí, sí,
así
sí.
déjalo. No, don't
Mhm.
question her. Don't make her feel weird about it. Nomás
Right.
déjala. So time passed, and little by little, I just noticed that she was just not
Different.
into boys.
Sí.
You know what I mean? And then she would dress like this.
Maybe she's a,
Yeah.
maybe there's a little bit of like obviously you have your bisexuals and then you have your pansexuals and stuff. So pansexual.
Wait,
What?
no, wait, la forma que lo dice como que, well, you have this, you have that. No, it just sounded funny. I'm not offended. It just sounded funny.
Well, because you know, like obviously, if you're bisexual, you like both of them. If it's pansexual, it's the same, right?
No sé, yo
love
no-
is love.
Like,
For
Like,
me, like all
it's-
these words and I like so the LGBTQ, like I understand all that, pero ya cuando es como pansexual and like there's this big word which I don't even know what it is. That's where I'm like, okay. For me, it's como que I am ignorant in that sense. Because I grew up in that sense of it was only like 5 categories.
Right.
You know what I mean? Entonces ya hay como más categorías, and that's where
The categories
Sí,
have
sí,
been
sí.
growing.
And
Sí.
yeah,
Ajá,
you know, that's
and-
the thing. But one of the reasons why I know specifically why pansexual means is because I looked up myself.
You're pansexual?
Well, I don't know. No, I don't think so. But look, well, pansexual means that it's
Love.
everybody is whatever to you. Like
Sí.
you don't see gender.
Uh-huh.
And so the reason why is because a long time ago I met somebody, and
Who?
they it was a female.
We want names.
Sin raspar muebles.
¿Qué?
Putting-
Sin raspar muebles. ¿Qué pensabas, güey?
No sé.
Sí, güey.
Cindy?
And she was a female. And she was really cool, and we would get along so good. And I think at some point I started developing a crush.
Uh-huh.
And I never really went through with it because I never said like, oh, I'm sexually attracted. I don't know. Maybe I never explored that, you know, but it was more like a crush thing.
Sí.
So then I'm like, well, what is it that I'm feeling? ChatGPT. What is that? What is it that I'm feeling? What is it that I'm feeling?
Oh, evaluation.
So, you know, and that's how I knew that word existed. But I know that there's many more like categories and stuff.
Ajá.
Y pues sí, ya, que cada quien me explique lo que es. Y
Sí.
yo respeto como si quieren, whatever, I'll call you whatever you want to be called. And
Ay, sí, es otra cosa. Es como the he, she, the them. And
Yeah, like
they.
it's
non-binary
complicated.
stuff like that.
Ajá.
It could be hard because where I work, well, we see people like that, you
Sí.
know, and sometimes we see what the person is, like a male, you know,
Sí, sí, sí.
but she likes to be called Miss,
Ajá.
and you know, when I started working there, I called her Mister.
Oh.
Yeah, because I didn't know.
Sí,
Right.
sí, sí.
Sí, sí,
I
But
just-
it's not like they come like with the label saying like,
Right.
my pronouns are.
Right.
No.
and I felt bad, you know, because
Right.
she went
They
off on me.
corrected you.
Yeah,
Oh.
like
Really?
really bad, like "Fucking bitch, blah, 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 blah."
No, pero para
But I
eso.
was like, oh my god, you know, like I'm so sorry.
Right, like
know,
you didn't do
I-
it on purpose.
Yes, it
Uh-huh.
wasn't my
Your
my intention
intentions.
to.
And I feel
Whatever.
like the same way that like, you know, well, I mean, I can't speak for everyone, but I mean, maybe in this room that we're willing to respect that.
Yeah.
People should also have the same respect and
Right.
understand that, you know, explain it to me and you know, I can respect
Sí,
that, but don't
exacto.
come at me like,
Ajá.
you know,
Ajá,
I did it on
like,
purpose.
Like you expect
Sí,
me
sí,
to
sí.
know.
Right.
See, if you want me to call you a caca, I'll call you gladly.
Sí, exacto.
You know what I mean? No,
But
espérate,
it's the way that people like come about it, you know.
communicate it with
Yeah.
O sea, si yo no, if they look like a male, of course I say Mister.
Right.
Right.
Pero ya, sí también pasó algo similar where like where I work, I'm like customer facing. Entonces su nombre era como que digamos Alejandra y él se mira como hombre.
Oh,
Y
Y
se
yo-
veía como Alejandro.
Y yo, sí, and then at that point, o sea, ya ni siquiera sé ni qué decirle. I don't know if I
Sí,
should
sí,
be like
sí.
Mr., Miss, or...
Love.
But what's the
Ajá.
universal term
Entonces-
of like,
Bebé.
if you're trying to stay neutral?
Siento que cuando es en español es más fácil, because you can just go
Yes.
with tú.
Ajá.
Or you know what I mean?
inglés,
usted.
O usted.
Usted.
Ajá.
Oiga.
Ajá.
Oiga,
Óigame
you.
usted.
Óigame
pero
usted el
cuando
de
ya
allá.
es-
Ah,
pero
no,
cuando
¿verdad?
ya es
Y lo que te
inglés.
digan así como el Juanga. Lo que se ve no se pregunta. Y tú,
No, güey, pues uno estoy
se ve,
preguntando.
No se ve.
No sé de por eso estoy preguntando, perro.
Perra.
Sí, güey. O perre.
Wait, because like once it happened to I was at a Sephora.
Uh-huh.
And obviously, you see the consultants, and it was the time where makeup was very, very big, and they would do their whole face and everything. Y pues tú le dices, like, guy, like, sir, you know, thank you, sir, whatever. Like, y no, pues they lashed out because it.
Are you?
It was a man.
Supposed to.
Were you working at Sephora?
No, I went. And
So- As a
they asked
customer?
me- as a customer.
And he was the employee.
Sí,
and he went off
ajá,
on you.
Yeah, y lo. Or, you know, they didn't go off on me, but they did like, oh, and it's yo, oh, okay, like, I'm sorry,
bad.
you know, like, 'cause I'm not supposed to know.
First of all,
Right.
bitch, you work. You're working. Ajá.
First of all, ¿cómo se dice? The customer
customer
always has the right away.
The customer's always right. Carro.
El vehículo.
No, sí, o sea, I feel like you have to also, how PIC was saying, like, if you want us to understand you, then explain it to me.
Right.
You know? So, I'm not saying, like, the first, like, así en chinga, como que, oh, my pronouns are they, he, quién sabe qué. No, like, but if at some point I call you she, but you prefer him or he, then tell me and I'll correct it going forward.
Right.
Pero pues si no dicen nada,
Sí,
pero
ajá.
si le
So
dicen
now a
cosas
lot of
de
the
mala gana.
applications born, are they, you know, like se hacen, like
Right. Those are
on
questions
time.
that sometimes come up.
Right.
So I met two people,
Mm-hmm.
and they're twins,
Mm-hmm.
and they're exactly the same,
Mm-hmm.
and they are both gay.
Oh, really?
And it's like,
Who?
no, I'm not.
I see.
And
Calm
it's
down,
like-
Gus.
And it's like, and then you think about that, and it's like, well, maybe they are born. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
I mean, I know they are born, but like that kind of like shows it. I don't know how to explain it,
Right.
but they like two of them, and
But
Right.
you know,
Sí.
yeah, you know, I have a
And
friend too
you know what I
who,
mean? Like I'm not saying all
Right.
twins are gonna be like that,
right.
you know, but
But in that
Sí.
particular
yes,
case,
in that
it's
particular
Right.
case, I was
Can't
like,
prove the
oh my
point.
god,
the DNA was there,
Yes.
the chromosome, the
God
gay
proved-
chromosome.
¿Quién sabe?
Just kidding, just kidding. Dude,
¿Quién-
but like I have a friend and she's got 2 daughters and they're both gay.
Uh-huh.
But they're not twins. But they're both gay, you know.
And I
You
think
could
we've
think-
touched on this.
Like, you know what I mean, it's
I
not
know.
like I choose to have 2 gay daughters. Like I don't
I
ask.
pick
Or, you know what I mean? Like it's just.
And I
It
think we've touched on
happens.
this topic with you before, Gus, at some point, and it's like, you know, yeah, like we were trying to understand, like it's not like you don't wake up and say today I will be gay, right? You know, no, I
Well,
mean,
quién sabe. You know what?
No sales del canal y with the gay pride flag.
no mames.
Parece que ahora como que it's like a trend.
To be
You know what I
gay?
mean? To be gay,
Like
to be part
maybe
of the
it's become
community.
that.
And things like that. Entonces, it's very controversial, and it's a very fine line.
Yeah, a guy was saying like, if I had a choice to be gay, please explain to me how I would choose to come to this world and get so much hate on or feel outcasted. Why would I choose that life? You know what I mean? Like, why would I choose to live this life that is not meant for us?
Como antes era como que it was like, it's still frowned upon, you know? Pero ahora es como que there's more liberty and things like that. And, tengo pensando muchas cosas a la vez.
Sí, calma, calma.
O sea,
calma.
está todo.
Brainstorm.
Sí.
Go like this.
Ajá.
But it's kind of scary now with the new president. You don't think that people are starting to hide again?
It could be.
¿Sabes
yeah.
qué? Cuando empezó a decir que he was going to be dissolving marriages, that's when I was like, fuck. Because
Gus is like, I'm single again.
no, but no. Deja tú eso. Like, it wasn't like because of that, but because we're going through like the immigration process.
Oh,
Dije, no mames.
yeah,
O sea,
yeah.
sí, if they, ¿cómo se dice?
Dissolve marriages.
Dissolve marriages. Dije, yeah. Like,
Sí.
it's
Yeah,
like
it's
all
gonna
be-
all our hard work
Sí, sí, sí.
has been.
And
for
where's
the last
that
2
at? Like,
years.
was that just kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I'm
It
not
was-
very in
it
touch
was-
with the
It was
politics.
just
but
like introduced to the.
Oh,
to the
okay.
thing, but-
Yeah, I think that eventually he'll try to do something with it, but as of right now, pues let's not even
ya
focus
se
on
chingó
that.
ahorita.
Sí,
Sí,
ajá.
ya. Nosotros ya chingamos. Ya sí pasa eso.
Sí, pues ya,
I
at
was,
least you guys
I was
got-
actually talking to a customer. He's 63. He's 63. Y he was talking to me así normal. Y luego ya poquito como que me dijo que tenía esposo. Pero he didn't seem gay. Like he
okay.
seemed very
Oh,
masculine.
okay.
Right.
Ajá, old fashioned y así. Y ya me dijo y yeah, we went a bit more into detail about the community and things like that. Y luego me dijo, he was talking about that, the dissolving of marriages. Y ya fue cuando yo le dije, like, ¿por qué? No. But he was talking about that, and I told him that my part of the story about like, oh, see, this is that would affect me in this way. Y le dije, pues después de eso, pues ya, como que no me importaría. And then he was like, well, like it is important because why should like my next door neighbors that they're like heterosexual couple should have more rights than me or than us? And that's when I was like, true.
Yeah,
O sea, como
it's
que,
just-
y también yo soy así como muy así como que a mi beneficio,
Ajá.
you know? So then,
Sí.
but to his point, like it made sense. Like, yes, like why should hetero people have more
why-
rights? As a mother, what advice would you give to other mothers and to daughters or sons who are
Yeah.
planning to come out, or how would you tell them like it's okay type of thing, or whatever you want to say?
I mean, just accept them. I mean, they're your kid, regardless of whatever they are. I try to tell my kids to love everybody. Like Day, Michaela, even Benny, because Benny. He's very like he wants everything in detail and why and this and the and blah blah blah. So I try to make him understand.
Es muy
Benny
preguntón.
Es muy preguntón. Ajá.
Imprudentito.
Imprudente.
Igual que la tía.
And love and my daughter, well, I just told her, you could be yellow, pink, green, and I'll still love you.
Sí.
Or
And
the rainbow
uh-huh.
color.
I love her regardless of anything and everything, and
Me too.
and I have people that I try to like bring out and no quieren, and I'm like, well, ni modo,
But pues that's
you know
not
what
our
I-
job.
It's
Sí.
not my job, but I'm trying to comfort them.
And I
Sí,
think that
como
that's
que-
all
como
there
que
is.
it's
That's
okay.
all.
I'm still gonna love you,
Uh-huh.
Right.
but
That's all
pues,
we could really do, because I guess as long as people feel safe with that ultimately that's my goal, is to always be a safe space for somebody who is going through a hard time, to let them know that I'm a safe space for them.
Yeah.
Voy a llorar.
All right.
Con eso podemos despedir a Amy, but
Sí.
I think we'll come back after a little break if you guys would like to
Yeah, for
continue
sure.
on this talk. And I will go ahead and play my commercial music.
Ay, at this point. We're back. Ay. So,
Because we missed you.
for real. How do you guys like my hair picked up? Do I look more professional?
Sí, como lo
Actually, I
quisiera.
was going to mention that. I like it. It looks very clean cut.
Oh, sí?
Very nice. Very
Thank you.
demure.
Very
Pero
mindful.
atrás no.
A ver.
Ay, yo. Terremoto.
Terremoto. Because it's like,
Mis ojos vírgenes.
qué pendejo. Oh, guys, I realized I laugh really loud.
No.
Oh, yes, and then we have this.
And then I laugh like this.
We have that button, and it's like we don't even need laughs because with ours, there's enough.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
I know. Do you want to talk about like your coming out story or no?
I was gonna ask that, but I didn't. Yeah, you know what? I wanted to ask, but I didn't know.
No, sí. Yeah, I'll talk about it. I'll talk
Of
about it.
course.
Espérate,
Let's get to
espérate.
know Gus a little bit.
This episode is about me. Ay, ay. This
He's
episode.
gay, so.
This episode. Pendeja. This episode is. This episode is sponsored by LZT Skin Therapy. I can't make it serious.
Guess who keeps his skin looking fly? Guess who keeps his gay skin looking?
And this month of June, she'll be having a promo.
Actually, yes. We have a new machine, and if you use the code CREW, you can get a 20% off on that new machine. It's really cool.
Awesome.
Yeah. So you guys keep an eye on
See,
on the
if you-
socials as
If
well.
you see me here next time, looking glowy, I took advantage of that promo.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's having way too much
So
fun.
much fun with those.
So tell us a little bit
Yeah, tell us
how your story
everything.
was.
Mine was like, I don't know. It was very quick, very. I say quick because So I'll take you back to. It all started when I was born.
Please,
It
we
all
want to know
started
what you were thinking at the time.
Coming out of my mama's vagina.
Dije, me gusta el pito.
You know, dice, you coming out of my mom's vagina. Ew, what the fuck is
¿Qué es esto?
this? Ew.
No, okay. Well, let's do like a timeline, I guess. So entonces, throughout high school, I did have a girlfriend. Y sí me sentía cómodo y todo, but I feel like I knew it wasn't what I wanted or how I felt, you know? So
You didn't feel whole or complete.
I felt like something was missing. Le faltaba pito.
But you
No,
weren't
no.
sure what it was
Es como
yet.
que una Wendy te hubiera gustado.
No.
Una Wendy
Like,
Nayeli.
okay, mi respetos para esas personas, pero it's just not my taste.
La mujer
Ajá.
trans.
Sí, la mujer trans no es para mí. La respeto y todo, y hay unas que son bien chidas y otras que son así que uy.
Pues como
Pero-
todo, como todo.
Sí, como todos, ajá, hasta los heteros.
Ajá, the cis woman.
But so yeah,
I know you're not talking about me.
so throughout high school, that's where I guess I explored that heterosexual part of me. Y pues sí, like I sí me sentía bien, pero I was saying, like something was missing. And then I was actually watching a movie last week, and it said ask yourself 4 questions before you get married or start dating someone, and you'll know if they're your true love. Entonces, going back to that, one of the questions was like, are you happy? Do you plan on having kids? And things like that. I can't remember the other questions. Pero thinking back on that, it's like, I'm not happy. O sea, no estaba feliz.
Oh, at that time.
Ajá.
Oh, okay.
Because I knew something was off and something was missing. Entonces, pues yeah, we broke up, and then that's another story.
Did you break up with
it
her?
It was a nasty breakup.
Really?
Oh, no
Sí.
way.
Sí, we'll talk about it next
How
time.
old
on
are you, if
breakups.
you don't mind me asking?
So I was in high school. So I broke up with her when I graduated. So I was 17.
Oh, shit.
Sí.
Oh, my God. How long? How long?
High school.
So the
probably-
whole high
pro-
school
No,
years?
3 years.
Oh,
Probably 3
that's
years.
a pretty long time.
Casi,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sí.
That's a long
So
Anyway, that one's for next time.
Sophomore to senior, sí. Y ya, pues we broke up y en eso, pues yo me di vuelo. Empecé a ver qué me gustaba, qué no me gustaba, in all aspects of dating, sexual relationships and things like that. Y that's how I started exploring my sexuality also. Y dije, eso es lo que me gusta. Me gusta la promiscuidad. ¿Cómo se dice?
Promiscuity.
Ajá. Ay, no te creas.
Me gusta ser puto. No pun.
No, fíjate que sí. Y fíjate que sí. And all that time before I met my husband, era mi vida. And I feel like I felt empty after being with someone. Entonces dije, algo falta. Algo falta dentro de mí que... Pause.
I missed that one. Yo bien atenta y no yo.
Pero algo falta that it's just not clicking. Like it's not, and it was mostly me that I wasn't ready for relationships. And more than anything, I wasn't ready to tell my parents either. Or
Okay.
you know what? Y a veces sí decía a unos amigos, telling friends was much easier, but telling my family fue cuando dije, fuck. Like, ¿cómo le voy a hacer? And going back to what we were talking previously, that's when I knew that I didn't care what my family would think anymore. It was my happiness over anything.
Right.
But that came with time and after I met Carlos. Bueno, ya, entonces, pasó toda mi vida. Pasó de los 17 hasta los 23, somewhere around there. Like, just in and out of relationships, one-night stands, y así. Y luego, ya, I met Carlos. I met Carlos during pandemic. Literally, like, no, lo conocí en noviembre. Pandemic started in April of the following year. And then, yeah, pues, it is de Juárez, entonces he couldn't cross or come over here, y así. Entonces, unable to come, so entonces, yo a veces iba, y así. I was a really bad boyfriend, I'll say that. And, bueno, yeah, long story short, there's, the pandemic is over. He comes over to my house after I have a party. Entonces, yeah, my parents get to meet him, y así, pero nunca les dije como que él es Carlos. I've been dating him for the last
¿Lo introduciste como
Right.
amigo?
como un amigo.
Sí,
Sí.
ajá.
Porque tampoco sabía si iba a durar, si no. Ay,
Oh,
güey, ya tengo
okay.
3 años y no sé si iba a durar.
Todavía lo estaba dudando.
Todavía lo estaba
dudando.
tanteando.
Sí. I was testing the waters.
Ajá.
Y otras cosas también.
Ay, cochino marrano asqueroso.
No, pero ya pero dime más.
He was doing the test drive.
Tell me more, tell me more.
Bueno, entonces ya after a certain time, he was in and out of the house and things like that. Y una vez, my dad was a bit drunk, and he's like, oye, mijo, le quiero preguntar algo sobre Carlos. Y en eso, I had ordered pizza, and en eso, pues, me hablaron de la pizza, and I was like, me salvé. Pues me fui al cuarto.
You
y
knew what it was about?
Ya sabía. And throughout that time, I was already talking to one of my coworkers, y decía como que, I feel like it's time for me to tell my parents. Like, I just feel it. I just feel it's time. Y pues ya pasó esa noche con mi papá, and then the next day I went to the gym porque dije, me quiero desestresar, I want to be ready, like I'm just trying to get all this stress out of me. Y ya, the next day, estábamos en el comedor, and it was just my parents and me. Dije, perfect. And I'm like, ¿se acuerda ayer que me preguntó sobre Carlos? Pues sí.
Was your voice shaky? Or
Yes.
like,
But wait, how far did he get when he asked? Like, you already knew what he was going to ask?
Sí, ya sabía.
What was his question? Like, whether or not he was gay or like...
Or we were together.
like that was the...
If we
Oh
were
my
together,
God.
sí.
So you just didn't answer. You took the call instead.
I took the call. I took the call.
I'll get
dije,
back to you on that one.
Sí.
I need to
Y ya
process
sabía para
this.
dónde iba. And then,
Sí.
because my mom was like, don't ask.
Oh, your mom was there
Ajá.
too? Oh my God.
So she's like, don't ask. Like, ya sí, ya fue cuando dije, okay, like, they know. Or they've been wanting to know, like, for me to tell them, right? Y ya, pues, the following day, we were sitting at the dining table. Y ya les digo como que, going back to your question, sí, me and Carlos are together. And they were like, oh, okay. My mom was she was like, mientras tú seas feliz, que el mundo siga dando vueltas. My dad was very,
a little bit more hesitant.
no, not even hesitant. He was just quiet. He was just,
Processing.
no. Ajá. Y siento que hasta el momento lo sigue procesando.
Really?
Oh, okay.
I feel like till the day he's like processing it still. And my mom's more like, she was like, okay. Like, he's happy. Like, that's all
what matters.
That's all I can care about for him. But my dad is still processing it till now. Yes, it's funny because anyway, in the beginning I told you guys it was rushed, me telling my parents, because I tell my parents, let's say in October, in November I get married.
Damn.
Oh, so it was like,
Sí.
so they had just literally found out.
Sí, y para ellos, I've been dating Carlos for a year or so. Not even like, they had no idea we've been dating since pandemic.
Right.
So they feel like it was very rushed.
It was too fast.
It was too fast, and just yesterday we were at a family gathering, and Carlos was like, yeah, like we've been together for like 6 years, or we're going for 6 years this year. Y una de mis tías dijo, 6 años? Because none of them knew,
right.
like we've been together for this long.
It was like on the DL and stuff.
See, everything was like, we're on the DL.
Pues sí, aparte que you were very, conservative. Like, you don't like to, like, go and tell everyone everything.
Sí, y yo no soy así como que I'm not waving the flag here. And that's what I was telling one of my customers also. I was like, I'm not like, ¿cómo se dice?
Flamboyant gay.
Sí, y gay and proud. You know what I mean? That I'm like, oh, sí, can sabe que it's pride. Like, I know right now at the beginning I was like, hey, it's Pride Month. But because I'm with my friends.
But I think that to some extent, I mean, it's just not, that's, I would say it's more of like, it's not your personality.
Sí.
You know, like, it's more of that, because I think we were having a conversation on the last episode about self-love and stuff.
Sí.
And you said, I don't have that or whatever. But like the fact that you said right now that your happiness came first before anything, that's literally self-love. Like, that literally is like when you just push everything and be like, you know what, I'm going to do what makes me happy. A lot of people don't have the
courage.
Huevos.
or huevos. Or courage. We could go either way here.
Lo que te gusta más,
to say that, you know, or to go and think like that, or to put that perspective, you know. So I think you do have it. Y pues sí, no creo que sea tu personalidad de ser así bien flamboyant.
Sí, no.
You know, I don't think that's necessarily. As a matter of
fact, lo respeto, pero it's just not me.
Right. And as a matter of fact, you look very butchy.
You know what I mean?
You look botched.
No, butchy.
I just did my cheeks.
Like a lesbian. A masculine lesbian. Not the grass. No, you don't look gay at first glance. I'm sure you get that a lot, right?
Sí.
You don't look like you're gay.
Pues sí, it's that, like, that's how I am.
Right.
And kudos to all those people who are all out and they, you know,
who can be themselves.
Who can be themselves. Ay, no llores, bebé, todo está bien.
But you're right. It's a personality thing, because I don't think you hide it. It's just the fact that that's who you are as a person.
Right.
You don't feel.
And I don't think you're like ashamed of it or anything like
that. Something I told my mom and my parents was like, don't expect me to be telling everyone. Don't expect it to go out with all my tías and be like,
right.
And es Carlos, eres mi novio. Like, no.
But also don't expect me to be hiding it.
Sí. Like, I was like,
lo que se ve.
No se pregunta.
Sí, exacto. Y si les dije, si me preguntan, pues sí les voy a decir.
Yeah.
Pero no, don't expect me for me to be telling everyone.
Go tap on their shoulder y lo, es que hoy le quiero decir algo.
Sí, no.
Es que soy gay, tío.
Fíjate.
And you know what? When we got married, everyone was very upset because they weren't invited to the wedding.
And why didn't you guys? Was it because you really wanted to keep it small, or because you just rather not, you know?
Eran las dos cosas. It was a combination of both. But it was more of a... O sea, todo fue muy apresurado, pero, like, bueno.
For your reasons.
Sí. And then we got married in November, and then one of my first tías found out we got married, like, months later. And she was like, I'm very mad at you. Y luego yo, ¿por qué? Y luego me dice, pues porque se casó y ni siquiera nos invitó ni nada. And I was like, well, it's because, like, it just happened so fast.
Right.
And
did you have a party?
No. We just had a dinner. So that's what I told her. I said, once like we like finish like this whole process we're going through, we'll have a party, and then there like we'll like renew our vows and things like that, and then everyone will be invited to the party. But it was just not that I didn't want to invite you. It was I just didn't feel the need to.
Yeah.
For
the need to invite you.
The need to invite you for that for that.
Feel like I needed you there for that moment, really. So
Sí, no, o sea, and I feel like it's coming off like como que no
Sí,
que
sí,
mitad,
rude and stuff.
pero
Yeah,
it
but
was
no.
it was more of a. It's not a party.
Right.
It's just gonna be like very intimate and.
he's sounding just like me.
Yeah, it was like an elopement type of
Ajá,
right?
sí, 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 sí.
Oh, yes,
Dije,
but
ya que sea la fiesta, entonces los invito a todos.
Sí,
pero-
ajá.
How did you? So did you feel like a big weight lifted off of you when you told your parents, like that day, like were you like, finally, or did it feel like more tense?
Yo dije, no, ¿sabes qué? I don't remember how I was feeling after the fact. Like it's just a big blur. Like I was just like
the adrenaline just
Ajá.
taking
Probably,
over,
yeah.
right?
No sé si it was like me being like, or me being like, fuck, ahora que viene.
And your other
Right.
siblings, did they know?
I was gonna
it just your
say,
parents?
did anybody ever tell you like, oh, I knew since forever?
Right.
Like I've
Sí.
known this or.
See, so with my little sister, one time I was I wasn't a bit drunk, pero sí estaba tomando, y that's when me and her were very like juntos. Ella y
Okay.
yo. So it's three of us, my older sister, me, and then my little sister. Entonces we take our turns to see, like a veces la grande y yo y así.
Uh-huh.
At that given point in my life, I was more attached to my little sister.
Uh-huh.
Y ya le dije, I was like, I want to talk to you about something. Y ya se lo dije, and she's like, okay, and then?
¿Y qué quieres? ¿Que te aplauda?
Sí, ajá.
Espérate.
She was
¿Quieres
like,
un desfile para June?
she was, she was just like, ¿y luego? And I was like, well, no, nothing. I just wanted to let you know that. Y ya.
Oye, tú así con la gran noticia y ella así
Ajá.
como que ¿te
Sí,
aplaudo
güey.
o qué pedo?
Y ya, sí, ajá. And I was like, okay, well, that's it. And she was like,
Okay, bye.
ajá. And she was like, oh, no, okay, that's fine. As long as you're happy, then that's it. That's all I'm happy.
Aw,
good.
yeah, that's
And then
sweet.
with my older sister, how did it happen? I think it happened around the same time I told my
Uh-huh.
parents also. Because I think it happened around the same time because we were planning to tell my parents we were gonna get married.
Mm-hmm.
And then so I had to tell my sister because I
Right.
didn't know how to come. Because I remember, guys, I just told my parents, and like, let's say today, and 2 weeks later, I'm getting married.
Right.
So you
So-
already had the plans of marriage.
Uh-huh.
You just
Sí,
needed to
ajá.
I
get
just
ahead
needed
and
to
let them
see,
know.
how I can plan it. So I had to tell my sister, I was like, oye, esto, el otro. And actually, that brother-in-law I was talking about earlier, he's the one who was like, he already knew. And my sister would get upset. She was like, what the fuck are you talking about? And sabe que, o sea, tratando de defenderme, ¿va?
Right,
Ajá.
right.
Pero I feel like whenever
So
people...
you're like, no me defiendas tanto.
Literal, literal.
Pero ¿sabes qué? Es mucho así como de que it doesn't bother me, but it's more of a, to your point that you made right now, of people are saying like, oh, we already knew. Like, ¿les hace sentir bien?
Decir
know
que
me?
yo ya sabía.
Ajá.
Uh
And I was thinking about it today, actually,
huh.
where I was like, do people actually feel like good about themselves about seeing like,
No, I think it's more of like, to me, if I ever have somebody that I love be open about it, I'd be like, I'll feel a relief for them to be like that. They can finally live their truth.
uh-huh.
So it's not about me. It never is, in that state. It's never about me. It's about them. To be honest,
Sí.
like it's not like, oh, I knew it. I knew he was gay. You know what I mean? Like, it's
I was just waiting for you to tell me.
no, it's more of like, finally he can be himself,
Right, right.
or things like that. So that's, to me, that's what it would be.
Sí, porque mucha
Unless
gente sí
like,
está como
unless
que,
the brother-in-law was being a little like off,
With his comments or something.
or like,
No.
oh, you see, I told you. You know what I mean?
quién sabe, eso no lo sé yo.
Pues sí.
Pero sí fue así como que, I feel like in general people are like that, being like, oh yeah, sabía.
Uh-huh.
And in the back of my head, like I'm like, does that make you feel good? Like
Sí,
that
ajá.
you like
Right,
Right. This is
knew?
okay. Now that
You
I
know
see
what I mean?
that, that's
Kind
¿Sabes
of like
cómo?
saying like you were like, was that a judge? Were you coming at it as in a judgmental way?
yeah.
Ajá.
Because why can't they be like, okay, good. I'm glad.
Sí,
I'm
porque
happy
tienen
for
que
you
decir,
if you're
ya
happy.
sabía.
Okay, I can see
I do
that.
feel like if I was in that position and somebody said, "Oh, you ya sabía," I'd be like, You know, like giving that side eye, like,
Right.
okay, like, so tú sabes todo.
Él sabe lo
All of a
todo.
sudden.
Él sabe lo todo. I know. Well,
Bueno,
that
pues,
was a great story.
Pues ya nos vamos
Thank you
porque
so
la
much.
Rich está quedando dormida.
Sí, yeah.
No,
Thank you so
pero-
much for sharing that story with
Yeah,
us. You know,
thank
we've
you
been
for sharing.
friends. We've been friends for
Yeah.
such a long time, but we haven't because it's not like although we love you actually, not although we love you, and then you're gay. So like we don't love you because you're gay. We love you because you're you.
But this is a
So
great
that's
example of how we're not gonna judge like that, and we don't want to get in people's
Yeah,
business.
like-
Like whatever you want to share with us is welcome. But I mean, is it a curiosity thing? Yes, but we would never put you in that position if it's not something you wanted to
Right.
share with
Sí.
us.
Yeah.
You know.
Sí, sí, sí.
And from all these years, because we've been friends for what,
Yeah,
like
it's
I'm
been
gonna
a
say for
while.
like 4 years.
Sí, was pandemic.
See,
And we're hearing the story first hand
just
here,
now.
actually,
I never
guys.
sat him and like, how did you come out?
Right,
Sí.
And
exactly.
I needed a
Uh-huh.
full podcast.
How
for
did you tell your parents? What day was it? And how did they take it?
that. Yeah,
No,
dude.
no,
So
no.
that's
So
that's
yeah,
one
thank
thing.
you for sharing. I
Yeah,
mean,
for
that's
sure.
No, thank you guys.
Well, hopefully one day we get to have Carlos here, and then you guys get to see how they're a match together and why they're a match. But we really love Carlos too.
Ew, todos
know.
los
Shout
comments.
out to
¿Por qué
Carlos.
están juntos?
I know.
I know, ya le toca
No,
venir,
sí.
Ya le toca venir. This is
Ya le toca.
an alert that he needs to show up to the next podcast immediately as a guest.
For real, Crude&Unhinged is calling your phone. Okay. So, see, guys, thank you so much for tuning in, listening. This is I'm gonna go off script here. I like if we have a script. Huh? And you know
Tira el
what?
papel blanco.
Who even knows if anybody would listen till the very end? Because I know sometimes people get bored and they kind of just leave. But I do want to bring something up to everyone, and it's what's going on in the current status of our nation right now with the immigration. I know you guys don't want to get real political and everything, but I do think that one thing I really want to say is to you that you don't like immigration or you are against immigration or whatever. My question to you is, ¿tan pinche muerto de hambre estás que te afecta, te quita tu comida de la boca tener a una persona así en el país? You know what I mean? Keep that in mind.
What was the question?
Sí me quita. Yeah, you know what I mean? Think like that, you know? Do you have that lack of empathy that you are okay with seeing people being taken away from their homes and away from their children? So just keep that in mind, you know? And hopefully for the best, we can move forward as a community because, you know, we are in a border city and we do have that in our community. So hopefully, guys, you learn to touch your heart around these times and be kind to one another because that's literally all we can do. And speak on it a little
Y
bit.
aparte como que también, just let's remember that all of us are immigrants. We come from immigrants families.
Mm-hmm.
So just how you are like a U.S. citizen, because none of us really are in the border town. All of us come from Mexican parents. So entonces, o sea, también...
Or most of us, at least. Yeah.
Most of us do. Remember that what your parents or grandparents or whoever came before, all they had to do for them to be here.
Right.
Entonces,
Tóquense el corazón y no sean tan pinche culeros.
And
please tell us how you feel.
hate comments welcome.
But guys, I love you. Regardless. Okay, just kidding.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in with us. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel.
Yes.
Follow us on our socials on Instagram, TikTok, and here on YouTube.
Yes. We'll
Or
leave
in
that all
Spotify.
down below. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Till next time.